We'll try to go a little fast today and see if we can finish this verse today. Om Agyantimirandhasya Gyananjana Chakshununmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsham Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha namo vishnupadaya krishna pristhaya bhutale shrimate bhakti vedanta swamin niti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam, pangum langayate girim. Yat kripa tamaham bande, Shri Guru Dinatarinam. Paramananda Madhavam, Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Okay, so far we discussed the those who can tolerate the six urges can accept disciples all over the world. Um, is my voice audible?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. So there are six urges we discussed. One is the urge to speak, um, urge of the mind, urge of anger, manasa, krodha, vega, urge of the tongue, belly and genitals. Today we will be discussing tongue, belly and genitals. Belly genitals are small. Tongue is little bit, it'll take little more time. So those who can tolerate these six urges, that person can accept disciples all over the world. This is from Saraswati Thakur. Just a summary from last three discussions. When Jiva falls victim to these urges, then the life becomes inauspicious. And one who can practice restraining from these six urges, that is called tapasya. And one who practices such tapasya, he can overcome the illusory energy. But if he falls to these six victims, then one comes under the control of illusory energy. We discuss Vachovegam. Vachovegam is urge to speak, and we speak at various places where we should not speak because just the urge is there, and so we keep on speaking. And the solution is by speaking about Krishna. And when we speak sufficiently, or hear sufficiently about Krishna, then slowly there will be some breaks um, to our natural urge propensity to speak. Then there is Manasa Vegam. Manasa Vegam is the nature of the mind is develop unrestricted attachment very quickly, and the way we can come out of those unrestricted attachment is by thinking of the lotus feet of Krishna, serving the lotus feet of Krishna, thinking of Krishna's service, engaging the mind in serving Krishna. Like one thing we discuss, how can I spread the mission, Srila Prabhupada mission? So when we engage the mind becomes controlled. Then Krodha Vega is Krodha, the reason it arises is from frustration of desires. Bhagavad Gita also, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, unfulfilled calm, unfulfilled desire, frustrated desire give rise to Krodha. And we also discussed um, devotees also have attachments. They also have desires, but then they don't have unrestricted desires. They have desires, but then they are praying to Krishna, Krishna, these desires are not good for me. Please take these desires off. And when there is an opportunity to fulfill some desires, then maybe the mind becomes very like happy, joyful. Oh, I can enjoy, fulfill my desires. But a devotee knows this is not good for me. Yet the mind may enjoy. Then Krishna's mercy is Krishna takes away. When Krishna sees that somebody is sincere, then Krishna takes away all the disturbing elements from his or her life. And because the devotee, he may have desire, but then when something unfavorable is taken away, then Krishna gives that realization from devotee's heart, say, this is my mercy. So um, a common man, he will like super attached. He really wants it, and when he don't gets it, he becomes angry. But a devotee may also have desire, may also want something, but he prays to Krishna, Krishna, I don't want it. And when that is taken away, he feels happy and sees Krishna's mercy there. So in that way, the devotee does not become angry because he's not very much attached to anything. Um, Unfulfilled attachment give rise to anger. Solution is to direct controlled anger in service. Controlled anger in service. We discussed about controlled anger, uncontrolled anger. Controlled anger is when you use the anger to serve the Lord or to serve the devotees of the Lord. Uncontrolled anger is when anger overtakes us and then we lose our senses. So when we use the anger as a tool in service, and like Srila Prabhupada says, anger cannot be given up, but has to be rightly directed. And then Trinada Pisonichina Srila Prabhupada says, practice this verse, become tolerant like a tree, become humble, become tolerant. Um, okay, that's how we can overcome, we can tolerate the urge for anger. Another practical tip Srila Prabhupada also says, when we are angry, wait for some time before we respond. Now we begin from here, Jiva Vegam. So Jiva is tongue. As for the urges of the tongue, we all experience that the tongue wants to eat palatable dishes. Generally, we should not allow the tongue to eat according to its choice, if it's not prasad, but should control the tongue by supplying prasad. So we will see, like Srila Prabhupada has written, and then Saraswati Thakur has written. So you may see some repetition few times, but Srila Prabhupada said repetition of something good is always good. But I have put everything here for the sake of completeness of this topic. Um, so uncontrolled tongue means um, I may go to a Indian store and buy a samosa. And it is obviously not prasad and not cooked by devotees. Um, because I really want to eat samosa, or like going to places or eating what is not offered to Krishna. Um, um, mm, so that should be prohibited. Mm, And the solution of controlling the tongue is by eating Krishna Prasad. And we will keep rotating around this topic for at least 25 minutes. Is the solution of how do we control, first understand what is uncontrolled tongue. We will go in more detail on it and how do we control the tongue. Um, okay. The devotee's attitude is that he will eat only when Krishna gives him prasad. That is the way to control the urge of the tongue. So especially in temple life, how devotees live is, suppose breakfast is served and there are 5 items served in the breakfast, then devotee living in temple will only eat one of those. And he will not think, oh, this would have been better, or that, or let me cook something for myself and eat that, or let me make this juice for myself, let me get this thing. No, whatever Krishna has provided, whatever Krishna has accepted, that's what I'm gonna eat. That's how in temple life is. Same with lunch and same with dinner. And then sometimes the prasada may not be very satisfactory for some reason, or I don't like the taste of it, too chilly or too bland, or for some reason. Then a devotee does not go an extra mile to make one's own arrangement, but rather, all right. And then he sleeps in that manner. And the next day, so basically, whatever Krishna provides, a devotee should eat. So Prabhupada says a devotee's attitude is that he will eat only when Krishna gives him prasad. That is the way to control the tongue. Uncontrolled tongue. So uncontrolled tongue means the tongue is making me go here and there, and making me put a lot of effort, endeavors, and driven by the desire for the tongue. And controlled tongue is like, okay, I need to eat and I must eat prasad. And whatever Krishna provides, I eat to my full satisfaction. And when that control is there, that is a sign of some, that is a sign, a positive sign in Jiva Vekam. Then also said one should take prasad at scheduled times, Prabhupada says. Um, um, Ramapad Maharaj also says one should take the scheduled quantity. It keeps going on and on. But scheduled times means, okay, I'm gonna eat, say, 9 a.m., or some devotees, they take directly lunch at 12 p.m., and then I'm gonna eat at 7 p.m. Or some people, some devotees prefer I eat only once a day at noon. Some eat in the morning and then early evening. So whatever works best for you, but one should take prasad at scheduled times. Now there is, many people have this habit of munching on the way. So I've taken my breakfast and now some aloo chips, and now some pakora is fine, and with some imli chutney is good, and maybe some tea and coffee now is good, and maybe some this. So, and then keep getting something and keep munching something and keep eating something. Those in between eating is not, that is also a sign of uncontrolled tongue. But one should take prasad at scheduled times. Um, then, if we stick to the principle of taking only prasad, the urges of belly and tongue can be controlled. We will come to belly. We have 2 slides for belly. But like it is described by Saraswati Thakur, tongue, belly, and genitals, they lie on the same line. If you see, tongue is here, center of the body, below is belly, and center of the body at the bottom is genitals, and they lie on the same line. So Saraswati Thakur says, we will read that also, that if tongue is controlled, then belly and genitals will be controlled. But if tongue is not controlled, then belly will have more and more. It will produce diseases, and then it will put pressure, and there will be the higher and higher desires to um, use the genitals will also develop. Okay. Mhm. Similarly, the demands of, okay, here we go. Similarly, the demands of the body, this is by Saraswati Thakur, can be divided into 3 categories: the demand of the tongue, the belly, and genitals. We discussed, Saraswati Thakur divides into Vacho, Mana, and Sharir. These 3 Vegam. Vacho Vegam, Mana is mind and anger, and body, demand of the body is Jiva, Udar, and Prastha, tongue, belly, and genitals. If one can restrain the demand of the tongue by limiting his activities to the eating of prasad, if one eats only prasad. Now, one may say, I go to Indian store and then I get some bundi ka laddu, and then Krishna, please accept it, and I will eat. So I eat only prasad. But then one is actually becoming victimized by the demands of the tongue. Anyways, right? So whatever Krishna provides, devotee's attitude is whatever Krishna provides, I'll accept that. Especially childrens, we see whatever mother provide, they kind of go, I don't like what you cook or what somebody has cooked at home. So I'll order pizza from Pizza Hut. I'll get this, I'll get that. I'll eat vegetarian only. So these are all becoming. um, um, victimized to the demands of the tongue. So if one can restrain the demands of the tongue by limiting its activities to the eating of prasad, the urges of belly and the genitals can automatically be controlled. Sari raha vidya jal jodendriya tahe kal. So kal means death. बोलते हैं कि इसका काल आ गया. So death. Jodendriya tahe kal means indriya means senses. These senses are leading to death. And sarira, sharir means body. Avidya is ignorance. Sarira Vidya Jal Jodendriya Tahekal means this body is full of ignorance, and among them, the senses are networked to death. O Lord, this material body is lump of ignorance, and the senses are a network of paths leading to death. Jive Fele Vishaya Sagare. Vishaya Sagare means I have fallen in this ocean of birth and death. Um, I have I have completely consumed with various desires to enjoy and to fulfill the various demands of these urges and these senses. Um, but जीवे फेले में सब the topmost सबसे पहला, the first one among all the Vishaya, the ocean of desires, ocean of sense gratification, the topmost among them, the most difficult to control is Jive. And then it says, Tare Madhe Jiva Ati, through your medium, Tare Madhe Jiva Ati, Lobo Maya Sudharmati, the tongue will also become controlled. Take jeta kathina samsare. Although it is the most difficult, kathina samsare. In this samsara cycle of birth and death, the most difficult to control is tongue, kathina. Still, tare madhe jiva ati. By your mercy, the tongue can be controlled. Um, um, so, naturally, before we come to Krishna consciousness, either some munching or some chips or some pizza outside, or it's like going, the tongue is going everywhere. And now we start accepting prasad. And when we start accepting prasad, still the tongue is like, no, but that's what I want now. And that Baskin Robbins ice cream now, and that pizza now, and that burger now. And what about Taco Bell? Those are wonderful. So I want those now. So tongue naturally has tasted many demands, has many, many desires. So even though I've started taking prasad, those demands will be there. So if I tolerate them, the tongue wherever it is going, and keep feeding prasad for some time, and I tolerate the urge of the tongue to eat more and more, and especially uh, um, Vishaira Anna. Vishaira Anna means the food cooked by sense gratifiers, the food cooked by materialists, like all these restaurants. This is called Vishaira Anna. So if I can avoid eating the Vishaira Anna and just eat whatever is cooked properly from scratch, um, and whatever is offered to Krishna and come as prasad. Just eat that and tolerate the urges, other urges. Thus, that eating prasad will gradually remove those remaining urges. Gradually. The way is eat prasad and don't eat Vishaira Anna. That's all. Okay. Um, so Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, this is a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. These senses are networked to death, and among them, this tongue is most uncontrollable. But by the mercy of Radha and Madhava, by eating their prasad, even this most ferocious element can also be controlled. Okay, there are six kind of rasas. Now, the tongue has various tastes, six kind of tastes. And if one is agitated by any one of them, he becomes controlled by the urges of the tongue. So sometimes we want something sweet, and we may go here and there for something sweet. Sometimes we may want something sour. Sometimes something more salty now. Too much sweet, more salty. Sometimes something more spicy. Sometimes bitter. This pungent is actually bitter. I by mistake I kept under spicy, bitter. And then sometimes astringent is like reddish pomegranate, थोड़ा सा खट्टा सा रहता है ना. And you will feel, mooli reddish. They are more astringent taste. So these are six kind of tastes. It is said that a spiritual master is always engaged in serving Krishna by supplying Krishna six kind of foodstuffs. Um, but uncontrolled tongue means now I want salty. Now I want some spicy. Now I want something sweet. Now I want something like uh, chow mein or something. So in this way, there are various desires, and we want what we want. So when we become controlled by, when we, if one is agitated by any one of them, one becomes, when a desire is there, then the mind will become agitated. Then it's like until I get that, my mind will always be disturbed. And when I eat, then I feel like, ah, very nice. Then there may be some guilt feeling. Again, I became victimized by the demand of the tongue. Um, but it is okay, even if we are victimized by the demand of the tongue, it is okay to eat prasad. You cook what you like, those kind of things, cook properly, offer to Krishna. Still, one should realize, one should understand, this is my uncontrolled tongue. And that's why I want today I want gulab jamuns, and tomorrow I want pizza, and the after I want burger. But okay, I understand that my tongue is uncontrolled, but I cannot just overcome because the mind will become very much agitated. So let me eat what I want to eat, and let me offer it to Krishna. And just by eating that prasad over a period of time, sometimes decades, the demand of the tongue to eat all those things, and I want what I want when I want, otherwise my mind will become agitated. Those demands of the tongue will slowly become pacified. It's a natural progression. It's not like today I joined and tomorrow. I mean, some people have very high sense control and maybe continue from previous lives, but generally just understand that okay, I'm victimized by tongue. So I'm fulfilling the victimize the uh, my tongue is uncontrolled. But the way is to eat prasad. So let me offer to Krishna. At least don't go out. Then gradually that will help. Some are attracted to eating vegetables, creepers, spinach, and milk products, but all for the satisfaction of tongue's demand. I want some vegetable. I want, it's healthy food, but then again, it may be the demand of the tongue. I want what I want now, but all for the satisfaction of tongue's demands. Such eating for sense gratification is to be given up by Krishna conscious person. Even if I eat vegetables, if this is very, very difficult actually. Even if I eat, this is Srila Prabhupada's purport on the first verse. Such eating, even if I eat milk products, vegetables, grains, but I eat for sense gratification. Even that such eating is also given up by Krishna conscious persons, a very advanced stage. If we can practice accepting only remnants of food offered to Krishna, it is possible to get free from Maya's victimization. So if I just gradually just eating prasad, there is no other way. If we are eating prasad and if we are eating outside or food cooked by non-devotees, that day will never come when the tongue will become controlled. And that's why these six urges are there, and one must try one's best to follow the recommendation of the mind, of the words, of the anger, of the tongue. Follow the recommendations, and gradually the process will work. So here it says, if we eat Krishna Prasad only, just by eating Krishna Prasad, we can become free from Maya's victimization. However, if one accepts Prasad only because of his palatable taste and thus eats too much, he also falls prey to trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. So only Krishna Prasad. Okay, so today Krishna Prasad is Shahi Paneer and Dal Makhani. I like North Indian food, so I'm taking these names because of my uncontrolled tongue. And there is some chapati. Parantas are great actually. Yogurt is also very nice. Some juice is like great. And now this is very nice, so I'll eat lot of these items. Again, it's eating prasad. It's gonna help us overcome the demands of the tongue. But this overeating is also because of uncontrolled tongue. But same, because it's prasad, same is going to gradually help. So it's like that's the stage many of us may be in. But the solution is only eat only prasad. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us to avoid very palatable dishes even while eating prasad. This is little bit more advanced stage. Is like Ramapad Maharaj says, fixed quantity. Fixed quantity means okay, it's not like if chowmin, then I will eat up to my neck, pizza up to here, and if it is some dal fry and rice or some khichdi, then I will eat. No, I'm okay. This much is enough. Otherwise, eat this much. But fixed quantity. Also, it is specifically mentioned for those in renounced order. It is said that they should avoid very palatable dishes even while eating prasad. Um, these are higher principles. One example is Raghunath Das Goswami. He gave up eating anything other than buttermilk, very advanced stage. And if somebody brings him, even if it is cooked from scratch, um, and Raghunath Das Goswami would feel like um, um, his senses are uncontrolled. He would feel like that, and he would eat only buttermilk. Mm. And His Holiness Sadhana Swami Maharaj says that even while eating buttermilk, Raghunath Das Goswami was thinking, because of my uncontrolled senses, this is what I'm enjoying buttermilk. So his level of tapasya is to that extent. Even buttermilk, he would lament after drinking that. One very advanced stage of Vegam. And these Vegams, they grow over time. Initially, our Vegam may be not eating outside, eating even large quantity, or eating the palatable dishes, or eating what I want to eat, offering it to Krishna. That may be our first stage of Vegam. Then gradually, Vegam can go to, okay, I'll eat everything, but not, maybe I will avoid much sweets or much fried items or much those. I'll eat more healthy food. Then there is another level of Vegam, of Jiva Vegam. And Jiva Vegam is actually very hard, actually. Um, okay. Then if we offer palatable dishes, this is very difficult, but hear it. Prabhupada says, if we offer palatable dishes to the deity with the intention of eating such nice food, we are involved in trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. I'm offering this burgers to Krishna, and while cooking burger, I'm imagining, oh, today will be very nice lunch, very nice breakfast. Today I'm gonna have burger, and then quickly make with so much excitement we make, and then we offer to Krishna as a part of procedure, and then we are very excited, and then we come to the breakfast table and we eat to our full satisfaction, and we feel like, wow, today was wonderful. So although it was cooked from scratch, and it was offered to the deities, but Prabhupada says still we are involved in trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. Hearing this does not mean we'll be able to practice tomorrow. I'm not able to practice myself. But hearing this is a reminder, okay, there is such a stage. And can I strive to get there? Can I take baby steps to get there? Um, and everyone can apply these principles at their own speed, at their own pace. But eventually, one should know that this is where I want to get to. If we accept the invitation, this is something a little bit more grosser. If we accept the invitation of a rich man with the idea of receiving palatable food, we are also trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. Oh, there is a marriage ceremony, maybe outsiders. Okay, I'll go there. And then anything without onion garlic, oh, this is without onion garlic, very nice. Or oh, they have made without onion garlic, very, or some rich man, or some parties, or some restaurants. Um, and the mood is, if I go there, oh, prasadam will be excellent. Not prasadam, food will be excellent. I must go there. So this is again We are trying to go here and there to trying to satisfy the demands of the time. These senses are so powerful, they can make us run. The mind will become agitated and we keep running here and there. Um, in Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 6227, it is said, जीविरालालसयेति युतिधाया Shishnodara Parayana Krishna Nahi Paya. That person who runs here and there seeking to gratify his palate and who is always attached to the desires of his stomach and genitals is unable to attain Krishna. So Jivira Lalasa Yei Iti Utidhaya. Jivira Lalasa. Oh, I really want this. Iti Utidhaya. Now I'm going here and I'm going there. The person who of this like that desire for I really want to eat that, and I'm running here and there to acquire, that is also lust actually, and that's a lalasa. It's like that, that is there. Jivara ji Jihivara lalasa hoy iti yotidaya shishno dara parayana. So Shishnodara. So Shishno is genitals and Udara is belly. Shishnodara Parayana. And then he is very much attached to fill his stomach and improperly use his genitals. Krishna nahi paya. Then that person will not be able to attain Krishna. Mahaprabhu says. Of course, for us, anyways, Krishna is very far. And these activities we are involved maybe in many of these activities here and there at different levels. But before we actually attain Krishna, the stage will come where all the six uh, urges are, are, we can tolerate them. Um, and the more we can get there, the more we become free from the illusory energy and the more we can realize Krishna. This is another verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 6 to 78. Vishaira na khaile malina hoya mana malina mana haile nahe Krishna nama grahana. So Vishaira anna khaile malina hoya mana. Malina matlab mal, ganda, polluted. When we eat food which is cooked by Vishayi, sense gratifiers, the mind becomes contaminated. That's why we see in temples, we don't even eat bread from outside or burger buns or even those kind of things we don't eat in the temple. Especially it is said those who are residents in the temple should not eat them. But for practical purposes, machine made goods are better than restaurants and cooked by humans. But better than machine made is what is cooked with love by devotees and offered to Krishna. But if we eat anna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, open the door. Yes, sir. He's not here. Thank you. Thanks. Vishayra anna khaile, malina hoya manna. But if it is cooked by, we go to somebody's home, even if they cook something without onion garlic, then if we eat that, the mind will become contaminated. Mahaprabhu says, if you take food that comes from materialistic people, your mind becomes contaminated. Malina mana haile, और एक बार मन मलिना हो गया, once the mind is contaminated, नाहे कृष्णा नाम ग्रहणा. So we cannot properly chant the holy name. कृष्णा नाम ग्रहण नहीं कर पाएंगे आप. Your mind is contaminated, you cannot chant the name of Krishna. For us, anyways, we are not able to chant the name of Krishna, and our name of Krishna is like mostly distracted, anyways. So when we eat outside food or those cooked by others who are not devotees, we may not see much difference because, anyways, but once we become more and more pure, you will realize what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking. And then when the mind is more and more focused and absorbed, and then one time you eat Vishaira Anna, and you will see, I cannot chant properly now. I cannot do my service properly now. So these statements given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they're absolute truth, but we will realize them at our own time, at our own pace. Whenever the Lord give us that realization, we'll realize them. Okay. Those who, okay. Now, any.
Prabhuji, I have one question.
Viday Prabhuji, yes.
So, Prabhuji, when we cook prasadam for the Lord, we say we should cook the most opulent food, right? All kinds
Mm,
of taste. So, doing that, um, and then we eat the same prasadam. And if we take that, means will that not increase our desire to eat opulent
ah,
food?
Very good, Prabhu. So, Prabhuji, um, um, we should serve the deities the best. Like Srila Prabhupada gave that principle. I'm talking about temple life. We should serve the deities best, and then it is the devotee's choice of what all he wants to eat. Of course, we are not there yet. And whatever is offered, we take. And we are not saying our tongue is uncontrolled. Okay, we accept, and we are waiting more and more mercy of Krishna. And to some extent, we tolerate, and some we let go. And we are work in progress. I agree. Um, there are examples of like
Not
Goswami.
in that sense. Let's say I means I was thinking of a solution. So if we make five palatable dishes, then probably we just eat one and rest four we let others eat, so that we don't get into habit of having all the time very rich food.
Hmm, yeah. So even at home, it's nice to cook simple. And if we want to cook palatable, uh, humble request is cook at home, whatever palatable dishes. Um, Once in a while, every day anyway is not healthy for us anyways. If once in a while, I'm giving practical answer. Once in a while, you want to eat palatable food, it's okay. But when we are eating, we should feel like I have a long way to go. This is all because of an uncontrollable tongue. Eat with little bit of guilt. And before eating, chant the Mahaprasad prayers. My Lord, these senses network to death. Among them, the tongue is most uncontrollable. But my Lord, this is your prasadam. Please um, let me overcome this desire because it is your prasad. And maybe please forgive. There is some kind of with those feeling eaten gradually over a period of time, let it naturally come that the tongue demands are not there. When the tongue demand is very high, and then we Srila Prabhupada and the place he said, devotees don't go for movies, they don't go for parties, they don't go so many places, they don't enjoy so many things that other people may enjoy. And we are tolerating. And Prabhupada says there is only one vent, only one space where we can vent off all the tolerance. And he said that is prasadam. So Prabhupada says, no, eat nicely. This is another angle, but again, we understand this is also Prabhupada's purport. That is also Prabhupada's instruction. And this is for two different phases of people. So Prabhupada is giving, okay, this is the highest standard. And Prabhupada is also telling, okay, at this stage, this is okay. And when we get there, like Raghunath Das Goswami, then we should strive for that stage also. Another example, Yuval Grisha Prabhuji gives like a dam. Prabhuji says, um, and the water is collecting and stopped, and the dam is stopping. And then the water increase. And if it increase so much um, that the pressure is too high, then the water will break the dam and go away. Likewise, Prabhuji says that we are tolerating our various urges, not this, not this, not this, not this. Um, and then if we tolerate too much, then at one point of time we may just like let go of all the senses and go haywire. But then that little vent is prasad. Does that help, Prabhu? Vinay Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other question on tongue? What does uncontrolled tongue means and how to control the tongue? But humble request is please don't eat anything outside prasad. At least if you're eating prasad, there are stories actually of one time Indra Prabhu. He is very exalted Vaishnava. I mean, he left um, 15 years back almost. Um, and when Prabhu was mentioning that when he was new in Bhakti, then he would go to temple kitchen and he would steal a lot of sweet rice and he would eat just like a bucket of sweet rice. And that would give him like, keep going, keep going, keep going. Then later point of time he would fast for a week also. So there is one stage, but because it was sweet rice which is offered to Krishna, even a bucket of sweet rice, of course not healthy, but once in a while, okay, ate a bucket of sweet rice. But then if he has but because it is prasad, that it's now when we eat prasad, even if it's a palatable item, if it is prasad offered from scratch to Radha Gopishna Vallabha Radha Ban Bihari, that won't take our bhakti down. That won't contaminate our mind. But that is a sign of uncontrolled tongue, but it won't like harm our spiritual life. But when we eat what is cooked by materialist, Vishaira Anna, then it actually degrades our consciousness or increase the desire for belly and genitals, and we will not be able to focus on Krishna. So that one thing we should avoid. Okay, any further discussion on Jiva Vegam?
I have a question. Hare
Mhm.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mata.
Prabhu, so let's say my family, some of my family members, they are not a devotee, right? So when I go to their house, let's say my sister's house, should I not eat what they offer?
Hmm. It's a tough question. I can say you one thing. Some brahmacharis, they go to their home and the mother cooks something, and then they are like, I cannot eat from your hand because you're not chanting. So the mother becomes really hurt and offended. So one brahmachari asked his own Sadhanath Maharaj. So Maharaj said, no, if mother cooks something, then we should eat, even if she is not practicing, because she's cooking with lot of love. Now, there are certain cases then from my own life, I can say my mother understood that I won't eat anything which is not offered or which is not cooked by devotees. This time she is chanting. So when she would take me, I mean, I would still go to India for some time and she would take me to various like relatives' homes. And when she would take me there, then out of her love, she herself would cook, and whatever relatives would cook, she would tell her that no, no, he won't eat. So she will herself cook and bring. So then I got that shelter, that protection. Um, um, Once in a while, once in a year, especially also I've seen one places where we can little bit more favorable is for the sake of preaching. Sometimes we go to somebody's home and they are not yet maybe chanting many rounds, and they are super eager, then taking a little and thinking in the heart, Krishna, please protect me. And then the mood is not I'm eating because I really want to eat this palatable kachori and samosa and pakora that they have offered, but I'm taking a little with guilt and in a prayerful mood that Krishna, please help me in this situation. Then Krishna will protect. Kalakanta Prabhu was mentioning in one of the lectures, if the mood is right, Krishna offers protection. But here it is something more like I really want to eat, and my regular habit is going to restaurants and going to this and that place, and now my I'm letting the tongue to be uncontrolled. Does that answer, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you
Okay,
for the clarification. Thank you.
thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Krishna. Any
Hare
other?
Krishna.
Ah,
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I
ah,
have one more question. For
yes.
beginners, for beginners, it will be a hard transition, uh, to just eat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because we munch, in between also. So, but if we eat something and before that we offer to Lord, and then after that eating, would that be acceptable?
Try as much as possible not eat anything which is cooked outside. Otherwise, the
Okay.
tongue will be very difficult, Mataji. I mean, in sometime in temple devotees also, they are sometimes hungry and no dinner. I mean, again, it's not like that. But then, in temple, they may make some kind of muri puffed rice. If you know how to make some those namkeens, different kind. And then if you make them, and if you don't know how to make, we can buy from Farmington Temple. They sell for the same purpose that we can avoid. Whatever is hard for us at this point of time, um, if we can stick to the principle of as much as possible not eating Vishaira Anna, and if it is cooked and offered to the Lord, that will gradually bring us to following the principle that Prabhupada is talking here.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay, got it. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you, Lakshmi Mata.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Ramashankar, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, as in some of the devotee job, by taking my example, that I'm in that field that where I have to travel, I have to go to different places for any talk or maybe a conference. There, I used to have the vegan thing without the onion, garlic, or without anything. That's not offered. Mostly that is salad. Because many times we won't find any temple or anything nearby where we can get the prasadam.
Yeah.
So is it okay, Prabhuji, to have that, or how we should deal with that
Yeah,
situation?
wonderful question, Prabhu. Thank you. So, Prabhu, it's the Anna which is a problem. If it is not Anna, Anna means grains. If it is salad or milk product or something, and naturally hunger is there. We need to feed ourselves at scheduled times. And if there is no prasad available, and if we eat what is not on fire, their consciousness won't go. Then the mind will not become contaminated. And we humbly pray to Krishna, Krishna, for my sustenance. Please accept it as and convert it into prasad. So there are such situations.
Okay.
These are all valid practical questions, and we are also practical while applying Krishna consciousness, and we are not no, like impractical in a way. But then the principle, like, okay, we can cook. Family is also there. Order from Pizza Hut today. Let's go out and eat there. And oh, they have an invitation. Very nice prasadam will be there. Let me go and eat there today. Chutti aaj. So when those things are there, then it becomes a regular habit. Then it's gonna pull us down.
Devotees
Oh.
cook such nice food that it becomes difficult to control the tongue.
Yeah, come to Sunday is a very nice prasadam. And um, we understand there's a principle there. We may eat with guilt, but we know that this itself is a medicine, is Krishna Prasad. That is going to control the tongue. Okay. Any other question on Jiva Begum? All right. Thank you. So now we go to the Udara Begum. Udara is belly. Those who suffer from diseases of the stomach must be unable to control the urges of the belly. So what is the difference between Jiva and Udara? Tongue and belly. So for example, something is not very tasty. Suppose I made some um, or something, um, maybe I made some poha and it's bland and I forgot to put much salt, um, and maybe not it has a raw taste or something, and my tongue is not really enjoying. Still, I am filling it up till here. So this is like there is a feeling that eat more, eat more, eat more. Oh, even the tongue is not controlled. The belly is demanding. Sometimes it is the tongue who makes me overeat, and sometimes it is just the belly. And even the tongue is not very much. Keep. Let it go in. And if you stuff more and more, gradually the diseases will come. One time, Yogesh Prabhuji was mentioning, quoting Ayurveda, he said like 70 or 80 or 90%, don't remember, of the diseases comes from belly. Also, the principle is eat what we can digest. Things like constipation. Um, it's going to create disease in long term. If once in a while constipation, fine. But if it is a chronic thing, then I'm not able to digest what I'm eating. Then we should know that, okay, here it's a little bit too much for me, or maybe the food types is not suiting my body. So one should understand one's body. If, like Prabhuji says, if we can evacuate every day, and best is if we can evacuate every day at the same time or similar time. That's a sign of the need, the hunger, and the digestion, they are going in sync. At least that will help us with diseases will not be there. Also, it is said when we evacuate, it is said when we evacuate once a day, that is good. If we evacuate twice a day, um, then it's a sign of we are doing sense gratification. It's more than what is required. There is saying, if he go once, he's a yogi. If he goes twice, he's a bhogi. If he goes thrice in a day for evacuation, he's a rogi. Means he's a deceased person. Goes twice, he's a bhogi. He's doing lot of some sense enjoyment is there. And once every day, very good. Um, any stomach disease, those who suffer from diseases of the stomach must be unable to control the urges of the belly. When we desire to eat more than necessary, we automatically create many inconveniences. Life eating more is a sign. It can be belly, it can be tongue. Uh, yeah. Now, the solution for belly, one solution we have read is if the tongue is controlled, the belly will be controlled. Naturally, tongue is controlled. Um, um, Belly will be controlled naturally. One more thing I would like to say about tongue on a very advanced stage, na, um, um, they eat whatever they eat as Krishna's mercy. They don't eat because it is palatable, but they eat because they know that Krishna has eaten it. Like as something little bit smaller, I was hearing from about His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. I was hearing. So, but there will be like a box of sweet in his room. Somebody would give it, will stay in his room on his table for a month, and Maharaj is, there is no demand of the tongue. Like, it's as it doesn't exist, like fully focused in his services. Um, and there are many times when he would be only on fruits for a month or 2 months, and sometimes he would fast for 3 days. So he would live, they're yogis. He would live in such a austere manner many times. But then one time, somebody gave a box, a full sweet box, and they said this is Mangal Bhog sweets offered to Radha Raman in Vrindavan, the deity of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And Maharaj became so overwhelmed that Radharaman has sent some prasad. So Maharaj immediately bowed down, paid his obeisances, and then ate the whole box of sweet. And although he may not have space, or but he ate the whole box of sweet. And because it was not because of the tongue, but it was because of devotion. Another thing, Prabhupada Maharaj also mentioned on Jiva Vegam. I asked this question, Maharaj, how do we cross over that threshold of controlling the tongue? So Prabhupada Maharaj says same thing. He said, whatever you eat, you see that, oh, this is Krishna's remnants. Radhani has cooked for Krishna and Krishna has eaten it. Krishna is so merciful. After eating it, Krishna is bringing his remnants. And and then taste that. Oh, this is the nectar from Krishna's lips. So when somebody eats in that consciousness, Prabhupada Maharaj says, then um, the desire for tongue will not be there. It is just like, we say, Krishna Surya Sam Maya Hoy Andhakar Jaha Krishna Tanai Maya Adhikar. So when we are remembering Krishna, um, the sense gratification won't be there. But when we are in sense gratification, Krishna won't be there. So when Krishna is there, when we are Krishna conscious, then um, that is wanted. Uh, okay. The third one, however, if we observe fasting days like Ekadashi and Janmashtami, we can restrain the demands of the belly. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur give these two solutions, or our Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Saraswati Thakur, and Srila Prabhupada. Same. They say fasting helps to control the belly. Um, And if tongue becomes more and more controlled, belly automatically will become controlled. Okay. Any question on belly? What is the difference between controlling the belly and the tongue? How to control the belly?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam Jai Srila Prabhupada. So,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question related to tongue from the previous slide. So, Prabhuji, what if somebody is cooking at home, like who is not a devotee, and then if he is eating while cooking, and then eventually if we offer that to Krishna, I mean, I know it's not right, but how do we prevent that? Like, we cannot prevent the situation, but so we can offer it to Krishna's picture. Can we offer it to Krishna's picture instead of offering in the altar?
No, I mean, understand the situation you are in is temporary and it's few days thing.
Yes, Prabhu.
And for now, offer it to the deities only. And then you are okay. And just use follow the principle that is right.
Okay, so even if it's like they're cooking while, I mean, they are cooking and eating at the same time, I can still offer in the altar.
Beg forgiveness from Krishna. Krishna, what do? I am put in this situation. Please be merciful.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mata. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we go to the urges of the genitals. As far as the urges of the genitals are concerned, there are two. There is proper use of genitals and improper use, or legal and illicit sex. When a man is properly mature, he can marry according to the rules and regulations of the Shastras and use his genitals for begetting nice children. This is legal and religious. One will not be incriminated if one use the genitals for the to bring children with the mood to make them Krishna conscious. That's why they exist. Uh, okay. Um, and Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Kamosmi. Um, um, he says, whatever is not against religious principle, what is not against religious principle, that calm or use of genitals is me. That is Krishna. Even that use of genitals will have no impact on us spiritually. And we will only end up in becoming more and more Krishna conscious. It's just proper use. It also says when a man is properly mature, the reason it is said is in the Vedic tradition, there is first a brahmacharya, first 25 years. There is no use of genitals for first 25 years. Then there is grihastha. But then the person is has become very controlled in the use of his senses. Then when he enter Grihastha, he won't be deviate from the principles because the strong training that comes with him. And then he or she will use it only for the purpose of what it's meant for in a proper legal way for begetting nice children. So when a person is properly mature and he marry according to rules and regulations. Also in today's age, people are begetting children without rules and regulations or without marriage. In America, other places also things are like sex before marriage is there. Then that is obviously not a proper use. Um, Also, uh, there is a principle of Garbhodhan Samskar, like Srila Prabhupada said, it's a very auspicious ceremony to give birth, to give chance to a soul, to give them Krishna. That is the purpose of marriage life. Srila Prabhupada described Garbhodhan Samskar as the day of the ceremony. Um, both mother and father should chant 50 rounds. And then when they both are in doing that ceremony of bringing a child to make him a devotee, they both should mentally chant the holy name of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And they should perform the ceremony while both of them are Krishna conscious. And that is that when again Krishna Surya Sama, Maya hoy andhakar, jahan Krishna taha nahi Maya adhikar. The purpose of genitals when it is done for the sake of enjoyment, then the child who will be born will also be motivated towards selfish enjoyment and will not care about the parents or anything, and will also be like the consciousness, combined consciousness of father and mother at the time of that ceremony That kind of soul is attracted. But when they both have chanted 16 rounds, absorbed in Krishna and thinking about Krishna, and when the ceremony happens, it is very, very auspicious. It is non different from Krishna. So this is legal and religious. Otherwise, he may adopt many artificial means to satisfy the demands of the genitals, and he may not use any restraint. Any restraint means, like Srila Prabhupada says, material life is work in the day and sex in the night. And there is no restraint, and they use many things that they buy on a market so they can restrict the childbirth. Or artificial means also like concept of pornography and masturbation. They are more like artificial means to satisfy demand of the genitals. There is demand, and let me satisfy the demand through this external means, and there is no restraint. So those things are obviously uncontrolled. When one indulges in illicit sex life, as defined by the Shastras, either by thinking, illicit sex life, it is mentioned, illicit sex life is not only that one is performing a sex life outside of marriage or artificial means, but by thinking of sex life, by planning sex life, by talking about, again, the conception of children is not a planning for sex life. The sex is not in the center, but the ceremony of giving birth to a Krishna conscious child, which is very auspicious, which is not different from Krishna. That is that is in the center. But planning, okay, um, tonight I'll go there and I will enjoy in this way. So planning, thinking about sex life, planning about it, talking about it. Some people like to have this vulgar talks. They talk about it. Talking about it includes. There are so many literatures. Prabhupada says that speaks about it. Talking about it, or so many movies. They are also talking about it. So talking about it or actually having sexual intercourse, which is not for the sake of obviously children, and by satisfying the genitals by artificial means, mechanical methods, he is caught in the clutches of Maya. Then Maya will capture that person. One may think like, oh, I have this organ and what is the problem? I'll use it. Krishna has given me. Yeah, but then we'll become captured by Maya. We cannot think of Krishna. We won't be able to become Krishna conscious. And any of these things, whether it's tongue, whether it is belly, whether it is genitals, whether it is anger, all of them uncontrolled will take us a step back in our spiritual life. One more step back, one more step back. But things like genitals is like way more severe, because if we become angry now, we may have a reaction for 1 or 2 days, or we may not be able to think of Krishna, and then we will be able to think of Krishna again. But genitals just comes under regulative principles. Like if we go to a restaurant and eat without onion garlic, we are not breaking regulative principle, but we'll have a hard time. We'll have hard time remembering Krishna. But when we break regulative principle, now that's like the reactions are very severe, like meat eating, alcohol, or among the most severe are actually illicit use of genitals and meat eating. They like really capture. And then gambling and alcohol also will capture. So they are a little bit more on a severe side. But then again, we find it, especially when somebody comes to Krishna consciousness, one may be very much in the habit of improper use of genitals, maybe because how the society is designed and how what kind of friends we have, what kind of environment we have studied. So these things comes with us for a long time. And when we come to Krishna consciousness in the beginning, especially we may feel lack of strength to be able to overcome them. Um, but then this path of Krishna consciousness, um, um, holy name, association, loving relationship with devotees. Um, this gives us strength gradually, just like Just like somebody is smoking, then we tell them, okay, you do maybe 10 smoking a month. Now you do 5 smoking a month. Now you do 1 smoking a month, and you gradually give up. Likewise, use of genitals in the very beginning, the day one person come to Krishna consciousness, the person should gradually reducing the use of genitals, gradually, and um, very soon, as soon as possible, the devotee should have genitals in such a way that he never sees them and he never thinks of them, and it's like this organ doesn't exist. If that stage comes and he just focuses on how to serve Krishna, um, um, that is desirable. Okay. The urges of the genitals, the sex impulse can be controlled when not used unnecessarily. So, how to control them? Just by not using it. The urge is there, and don't think about it. And same thing, mind becomes like unrestricted attachment may develop in the mind, and then again one offer prayers, take shelter of Krishna, and suddenly it's like an illusion that goes away, and then we are peaceful again. So um, just not using it and replacing it with Krishna. But for those who have to use genitals, the genitals should be used to beget Krishna conscious child. If one is in a grahastha ashram, naturally brahmacharya, vanaprastha, and sannyas. These three should never use genitals. Grihastha they can use only to beget Krishna conscious children. And if they are like, I have to use it multiple times, then give birth to multiple children and use it only for the sake of children. As many children you can handle, no problem. Like there is a very great sannyasi, Gaur Govind Maharaj. He was a devotee since his childhood. He has 7 children, and he said that I use my genitals 7 times in my life to beget 7 children. Um, it's hard, but then one must try to tolerate the urge. Um, Also, there is, as it is mentioned in the Shastra, that when that the semen is very sacred in a way. It is made with lot of the body makes it with lot of like I think from the food to um, to blood to bone marrow to bone, and how it goes, and then finally a drop of semen is formed. It is like many hundreds of I don't know, so much blood it takes to form one form of semen, and that is it's called urja. It has lot of energy, and when that is wasted, then immediately the person becomes very weak. And we see that people who lose semen regularly, we will see they will like बाल झड़ना शुरू हो जाएंगे, और they'll become old very quickly. They will lose that vital force. The semen is mentioned vital force. And then if it is not used improperly, then it is said that the semen rise up. If it is used, if it is used improperly, the semen flows down and the whole vital force of the body is lost over and over again. But if it is not used, then it will go up to the extent that it will enter the brain. And when the semen enters the brain, then the brain becomes very sharp for self-realization. Very easily we'll understand the concept, we'll understand the Shastra, we'll be able to very easily focus on Krishna. It becomes a great asset. It is said it takes 11 years without wasting a drop of semen for the semen to go up into the brain. Another concept of semen is when we think of like sex life, or even if we don't use uh, illicit means, when we think, the semen gets separated from the blood, and sometime it will come as night falls. But it is also mentioned that when there is nightfall or involuntary discharge of semen, it is not so bad. It means that there is some contemplation of sex, But it is not so bad because it is said that the real urja does not get wasted, but only some liquid portion of it gets wasted. So as much as possible, one should not use artificial means. That life force should be used only to beget children. Otherwise, it should be preserved and conserved. And that urge is there. And Prahlad Maharaj says it's like itching of an hand. There's a itch, and if you can tolerate the itch, then the itch will go away, and one must and just try to not use them unnecessarily. The Krishna conscious movement encourages marriage not for the satisfaction of the genitals, but for begetting Krishna conscious children. One should not think, let me get into the ashram. It is also said that many times, especially those who are trained, like it is said that some anyways, not needed. But those who are trained, um, um, they use genitals only for Krishna conscious children while thinking of Krishna. One who is capable of bringing forth Krishna conscious offspring is allowed to utilize his genitals. And so basically, the only way to overcome is to tolerate them. And if one is not able to tolerate, then produce more and more children. Um, and um, um, we can overcome this urge by spiritual strength. And if our sadhana is sincere and over a period of time, we'll get sufficient strength to say no to it. Uh, and the way is, it is said that vacuum attracts anartha. We discussed the mind, begins with the mind. If the mind is constantly engaged, then mind will not go in in a slopey direction, in negative direction. The mind is so engaged that we should know what to do, what to do, what to do, and keep on running either with the job or family or Krishna conscious. Keep the mind engaged. And this is a verse spoken to by Lord Chaitanya to Raghunath Das Goswami. Mahaprabhu says, Vairagi bhai grame katha na suni bekane, grame varta na kahi be yabe mili be ane. स्वपने ओ ना करा भाई स्त्री संभासना गृहे स्त्री छाड़िया भाई आसिया छावाना यदि चाह प्रणय राखिते गौरंगे रसने छोटा हरिदासे रखा था कि ये ना माने भाला ना कही बे आरा भाला ना परी बे हृदय ते राधा कृष्णा सर्वदा सेवी बे. So Vairagi, this is Raghunath Das Goswami wanted to ask Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Raghunath Das Goswami was in Grihastha ashram, and then he took the renounced order. So then Raghunath Das Goswami became a personal servant of like he served under Sarup Damodar. Sarup Damodar was personally serving Lord Chaitanya. So in a like servant of Lord Chaitanya was Raghunath Das Goswami, and he recently accepted the renounced order. He wanted to ask this question to Lord Chaitanya. Now I have taken renounced order. What is my duty? What should I do? So he asked to Sarup Damodar Goswami. Sarup Damodar Goswami asked Lord Chaitanya, Raghunath has a question. His question is, what is the duty of a man who has accepted a renounced order? So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, Vairagi Bhai, those who have accepted renounced order, my dear brother. But see, yes, we all should think that we are all in renounced order, even if we are in Grihastha ashram. If if our family planning is done, if we have one or two or three children, now we should live like a renounced man. Renounced man means not improperly using them. We will see the definition here. Like Srila Prabhupada would say, sincere grihasthas, devotees. Prabhupada would say that these are grihastha sannyasis or grihastha brahmacharis. Likewise, okay, my dear brother, you are in the renounced order of life, Vairagi Bhai, and should not listen to talk about ordinary worldly things. Gram mein katha na suni be kane. Gram mein katha na suni be worldly talk. Again, vacho vegam. Na suni be, don't listen. This is actually the essence of all the six urges that is described by Lord Chaitanya in this form. Gram mein katha na suni be or gram mein katha na kahi be. Gram mein varta na kahi be means talks which are not connected to Krishna. Again, vacho vegam. Na kahi be. Um, should not listen to talk about ordinary worldly things, nor should you talk about worldly things when you meet with others. Swapne ona kara bhai istri sambhasana. Do not think of women even in dreams. Swapne ona kara bhai istri sambhasana. Grihe, you have accepted the renounced order of life with the vow that forbids you to associate with women. Um, this is specifically for those either uh, brahmachari, vanaprastha, or sannyas. Um, and that you have accepted renounced order to not associate, then even in dreams, don't associate with women. Yadi chaha pranaya rakite gaurangi rasane. If you wish to associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there's Sarup Damodar telling, if you wish to associate with Lord Chaitanya, you must always remember the incident of Chota Haridas and how he was rejected by the Lord. So very, very difficult actually. Chota Haridas, one time he went to beg some food. He begged rice in the house of Saki Mahiti. Then he came back. Then the rice was cooked. Lord Chaitanya ate it. By eating the food, Lord Chaitanya asked, "Who cooked this rice? Who begged this rice?" Then the devotee who was serving the Lord, he said, "My Lord, this rice was begged by Chota Haridas." Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ate the rice. He waited for a moment and then he said, "Tell Haridas, Chota Haridas, never to see me again." So Chota Haridas received the news. He became very much concerned. The devotees became very much concerned, and they were thinking like, why Mahaprabhu has rejected Chota Haridas to see him again? And the reason Mahaprabhu rejected, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami mentions, is because when he was begging the rice, he was a sannyasi, Chota Haridas Thakur. Chota Haridas. This is different from Haridas Thakur, the Chota Haridas. When he was begging the rice, he had some thoughts about the woman from whom he was begging. Just a thought, actually. And because he was a sannyasi, and he was having these thoughts. When he came back, Mahaprabhu, by eating the grain, could understand the consciousness of Chota Haridas while begging. He didn't he just asked who got it. He said this it is said like even pure devotees, when they eat food, they can understand what was the consciousness with which the food was cooked. These are very subtle signs. We may not be able to understand that. So Mahaprabhu could figure out by eating one grain of rice. And Mahaprabhu said, ask him not to see me again. So Saru Damodar said, Chota Haridasera Katha Hake Yana Mane. So he's telling, always remember the incident of Chota Haridas, how difficult it is actually in this day and age. With the people of this age of Kali, how difficult it is. But Mahaprabhu was setting an example. There are many more things happened on this incident during Srila Prabhupada time also. Um, in short, try to be sincere. And if we are not able to be so sincere, beg forgiveness from the Lord and pray for mercy and try to be sincere. And if we are sincere, Krishna will help us. Bhala na kahibe ar bhala na khaibe. Bhala na khaibe again. Don't eat bhala. Bhala means very nice, palatable food stuff. Bhala na khaibe ar bhala na paribe. Don't dress luxuriantly. Don't eat luxuriantly. And Hridayate Radha Krishna Sarvada Sevive. And in the heart, always serve Shishi Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. In the heart, always serve Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. Very wonderful instructions by Lord Chaitanya to Sarup Damodar and Sarup Damodar to Raghunath Das Goswami. Um, um, Again, we are not there yet. Um, but we can see, okay, this is where I want to be, and this is where I am. And then we humbly accept, yeah, I am very fallen soul. People may say, wow, Prabhu, wow, Mataji, what a service, what all you are doing. But we should know that, no, actually, I'm very fallen. And I'm very far away from where I have to go. But then some prayers and some chanting, some reading, some serving, and hoping one day I can get to where I want to be. But today, let me just try my best. What can we do? I mean, Like Yogesh Prabhuji says, if we are born naked, what can we do? We are born naked. Try your best. Like, okay, if we have all the contaminations, then one verse that can give all of us, specify all of us is, it is said, even if we are low born, this is low birth. Low birth means we may have so many attachments and so many urges that we may not be able to tolerate. So this is like we are low born. Krishna says, even if we are low born, Shudra, Vaishya, whatever we are, Krishna says, if you take shelter of me, you will attain perfection. So the hope is Krishna. Where we are is a hopeless situation. But if we take shelter of Krishna, we will get to where we cannot get to by ourselves, just by taking shelter of Krishna. So the theme, that's why I said the first verse, this nectar of instruction, the first verse itself is so high that it will take decades to practice first verse, or to speak about getting to the 11 verses. That's why I was saying earlier in the beginning, that nectar of instruction we read after 10 years and we feel like, wow, how far to go. Then we know everything. Then you read after 20 years and you feel like, wow, how far to go. This much, this is the standard Rupa Goswami. So conclusion, the theme is, you can only serve one master. We can either become a servant of senses or we can become servant of Krishna. Those who are servants of senses, they are called Godas. And those who are servant of Krishna, they are called Goswamis. Prabhupada says the title Goswami should not be given based on like caste heritage or accepting of a particular order of life. But goes even if one accept a particular order of life, so even if one takes sannyas also, and he may get the title Goswami also. But one should know that if he is not able to control these urges, then he's still a Godas. Um, and then this is the second last slide. The conclusion is that one who can control these six items, speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, and genitals, is to be called a Swami or Goswami. This does not mean that he is the master of his family, community, or society. He must be master of his senses. Goswami does not mean that he can very well maintain the family, provide for the family, leader of the community, or leader of the society. That has nothing to do with Goswami. Goswami means how much he is the leader of his own senses, master of his own senses. Prahlad Maharaj has further described the Godas or Adanta Go, which refers to one whose senses are not controlled. And this is the last verse. Mate na Krishne paratah swato va mitho vipadyeta grihavratanam adanta gobhir vishatam tamishram Puna Punascharvita Charvananam Matena Krishna Parato Swatova Mithopipadita Grihavritana means Mate means attachment. Attachment to Krishna is not developed. Adanta Gobhir. And Parato Swatova means whether by one's own endeavor or whether by somebody guiding, somebody's instruction, somebody's help, whether by one's own endeavor or whether by others' assistance. Either ways, a person cannot develop attachment to Krishna who is Adanta Gobi, Adanta Go, whose senses are uncontrolled, who cannot tolerate these urges. Even if that person try by himself or he get help from others, he won't be able to develop attachment to Krishna. Puna Puna Sharvita Charvanana means because he is already chewing what he has already chewed. Chewing, and then like a bubble gum. And then it's like chewing, but now I'm disgusted with that, what I'm chewing for so long, and I want to spit it. I want to like free myself from that. This so I'm so bored or so disgusted with that. And after some time again I start chewing the same thing. So this is because of the urges are very strong. And those who are unable to give up those urges, Adanta Go or Godas, they will have hard time to develop attachment to Krishna. So see, we our own self are coming in between us and Krishna. Here's a translation for those who have decided to continue their existence in this material world for the gratification of their senses. There is no chance of becoming Krishna conscious, not by personal endeavor, by instruction for others or by joint conferences. Means by our endeavor, by others' instruction, or by our endeavor combined with other instruction. By no means there is a chance to develop attachment to Krishna. They are dragged by the unbridled senses into the darkest region of ignorance, and thus they madly engage in what is called chewing the chewed. So, what is our hope? Our hope is, O Srila Prabhupada, O spiritual master, O Lord Hari, O Lord Chaitanya, O Lord Nityananda, O Lord Nrsingadev, O Srimati Radharani, please help me. By my own, I am not able to tolerate these urges. Please help me so I can tolerate them.
इतना
Okay.
हैवी डाइजेशन पनीर
Are there any discussions? We have come to the end of NOI 1. Any questions, discussions?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम, हरे कृष्णा।
प्रभु जी, क्वेश्चन है जैसे कि आपने बताया वो when you said right about prasadam, so there are many friends they call us when they do Ganesh puja or Durga puja, Navratri, and they make prasadam. I mean that is okay. I mean no onion, no garlic also. So what in which consciousness we should take or not take, or what is that?
You mean you go to somebody's home and they are celebrating Durga Puja?
Yeah, Durga puja or Ganesh puja or any other. I mean demigods.
I mean, I personally say, please pack. I'll take at home, or I'll take tomorrow, and I don't take. Personally, it is best if we don't eat food which is offered to demigods. It is best. And also the person, their consciousness. If they are not devotees, if it is not for preaching purposes, it is best to not eat in their homes, or we are respectable. So try to find ways, and slowly they accept that, okay, this person will pack. And then, like it is said, when people would come and give prasad or give some food to Prabhupada, Prabhupada would gracefully accept it, and then he would not eat it.
Okay. So even if they are not devotee, but they offer prasad to, because many people keeps Laddu Gopal at their home, but they are not devotee. I mean, I don't know what to say, devotee or not devotee here, but they are not connected to.
They are not chanting.
They are not chanting basically.
Yeah. If it is for the sake of preaching and you take a small amount to encourage them, these are the only exception. But if they call for Durga Puja and they have Laddu Gopal even in their home and they cook, is that all right? That's what I do probably.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Prabhuji, I have a question in that scenario. So
Hmm.
Prabhuji, there are instances where I am invited for Durga Puja or another pujas in the temple, and I'm asked to bring bhogas to them. So
Hmm.
I mean, I generally take prasadam there.
Hmm.
But what should be the best approach?
Yeah, that is best. You offer to Krishna, take it there. Because even if they offer to Ganesh and Durga Devi, I'm very positive Durga Devi and Ganesh will only eat what you take because they love Krishna Prasad. Everybody is hankering for Krishna. Even Lord Shiva, he's like, there are many stories about Lord Shiva taking a grain of prasad and Parvati became angry because Lord Shiva ate and Parvati Devi said, you didn't share with me. Then Parvati Devi performed tapasya and Jagannath said, I will come and I will give prasad to everybody. That's one story of Jagannath. So even Ganesh or Devi, they all are very eager for Krishna Prasad.
So it's best to offer the prasad to Lord in the home and then take it to the temple.
That is fine. And then you can eat that. Even if, yeah, there is also in Jagannath, if you go, Mataji, then the food, whatever is offered to Jagannath, after that it goes to Vimala Devi. She is form of Durga
Yes.
Devi. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
then it goes to the devotees because she performed tapasya that I didn't get. So Jagannath said, everything that I eat, you will get in full abundance. Then only devotees will accept. But we call it Jagannath Prasad. So after
Okay.
offering to Krishna, devatas can eat.
Okay. Prabhuji, there is one more question. It's a little outside of the topic, but I think it's the best time, best chance to ask you right now. So there are instances where I'm involved in so many temple activities here.
Hmm.
Different kinds of pujas,
Hmm.
Ganesh pujas and so many other havans and pujas.
Hmm.
So while I'm in temple, is it what is your advice in it? If I preach Krishna over there or ISKCON over there.
Yeah, don't preach Mataji. Bring them to program because
Okay.
gradually based on your relationship with them, if they are eager, because usually demigod worship is the last thing we speak because otherwise they get like Krishna also says, don't shake the faith off. If they have some faith, don't shake them. Rather, gradually engage them in Krishna consciousness. We have seen we speak that Krishna is God, they're all demigods. They don't like this line and they go away. But rather, we should gradually bring them, bring them, bring them. Eventually, once they develop relationship with you, they develop faith in holy name. They develop faith in like Kirtan, Sangha, Prasad. They get attached to it. Then you tell them, this is not required. Like, all right. They may not still digest it, but they'll be okay. Why? Because they're already like connected to Krishna and devotees. So first is that it is said, Naiti are later. What not to be done is later. First, we focus on what to do, which and the holy name experience. Do the kirtan, associate, prasad, experience. All right.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. Thanks, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Danat Pranam. Prabhu, I have one question.
Yes,
Does
ma'am.
the leftover prasadam, does it affect our consciousness if we eat it next day or something like that, or overnight fast? Does it affect our consciousness? Like,
No, no. Prabhupada says prasadam is transcendental. Even after few days, it will have its potency. Unlike regular food, which goes in mode of ignorance 3 hours after cooking, but not prasadam.
thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay. Any other discussion?
Prabhuji, is it okay to move to next verse without practicing or fully absorbing the first verse?
देखो ये भक्ति शास्त्री कोर्स is not so we practice all of them. We try to practice and we get an understanding. एक बार अंदर जाएगा ना प्रभु, सब कुछ अंदर ले लो. उसके बाद gradually I am not there, I am not there, I am not there. And then maybe practice takes decades, Prabhuji. To practice the first verse takes decades actually. But let's try to understand. Let's understand this is something. This is the goal. This is where I want to be, and then take baby steps to get there. That's the only way I feel.
Okay. इस lifetime में तो नहीं लग रहा possible.
Thank you all so very much for joining. We'll end here. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha. पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्री प्रभुपाद धन्यवाद प्रणाम
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Thank
Krishna.
you,
Thank
Thank
Prabhuji.
you,
you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna,
Thank you,
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Dandavad
Thank you,
Pranam.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you.
Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, Hare Krishna.